All right, viewers, welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Press. We're reaching you live from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. So we'll move straight to analyzing on the stories that we read out to you earlier. We have our guest here on the show today. He is Obadiah Mbila, CEO of Lovewalk Media. It's great to have you on the show today, and happy Democracy Day to you.
And same here. Happy Democracy Day.
Same here.
Yeah.
All right, so quite a number of things that we have to discuss about, but we definitely have to start from Democracy Day. After 30 years of democracy, like I saw in a particular story saying that, okay, I can't find that one, but I'm sure I'll definitely get it later. But then I'm coming from Tinubu, President Tinubu. I even asked our viewers to snap that picture and keep it so as save it as a reminder. Says your sacrifice shall not, is on Nigerian Tribune, says your sacrifice shall not be in vain. Tinubu tells Nigerians in first broadcast. So I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will say that after 4 years would like to bring up this headline again and then remind you that this is what you said to us. So in regards to June 12 and democracy, after all these years, I hear some people say that it's been worth the journey. Francis said that we're not there yet, but we've moved. EU said that we've actually moved. We made some steps. But then the former vice president says no, that we've not made, that it is still it's still a sham. Same thing with the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. So for you, would you say that in all these years, would you actually agree that that phrase, the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain, is it in vain or has it been in vain? What's it for you?
Yeah, let me again say happy Democracy Day to Nigerians. And very, very particular, the man that made the Democracy Day possible. That's the then chairman of INEC, Professor Humphrey Nwosu. It is indeed your day, Professor Nwosu. Now, having said that, have we demonstrated that we've learned any lesson from what happened 30 years ago? Certainly, we have not given evidence that we have learned any lesson. Again, is it a sham? Is the democracy we have achieved a sham? Like it is alleged that the former Vice President of the Federal Republic, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, claimed. Well, I know in building, every block you lay matters. So, and I have grown to leave my garb of pessimism to wear, which I'm putting on now, the cloak of optimism. And therefore, I would say, instead of saying half empty, is it not better we say half full? It is true that there is no verifiable proof that we have learned anything from what happened in June 12, 1993. For instance, the story of June 12, 1993 went this way. Just at about the time when INEC wanted to call the results of the election, then order from Oga on
At the top.
now was that don't announce. This year we have a similar scenario where the order was announced. So don't announce, he went ahead and announced. That's what made June 12 possible today. If he didn't announce, as the organ on top said, don't announce, we would not be here. Therefore, he's part and parcel of what we are celebrating.
So he's part of the heroes.
Exactly. So talking about what the president said, that our sacrifice shall not be in vain. A very lofty promise. And every one of us would like to key to what the president is seeing so that we can see at the end of the 4 years whether he has delivered or not. When I hear the word sacrifice, I usually ask myself, sacrifice for what? Because every value has a price attached to it. You cannot just begin to pay for any price of a value that you have not obtained. Therefore, I'm somehow skeptical about the word sacrifice. Sacrifice. We have done enough of sacrifice as far as we are concerned, we the citizens of this great nation.
I was going to ask that. Is it the citizens or the politicians that have done the sacrifice? Go ahead.
Well, I think if the politicians truly appreciate the sacrifice of the citizens, they would not be coming with empty promises, bogus claims that would never be achieved. So, yes, we welcome President Tinubu's again heartwarming promise and trust that his ideology, his courage, his capacity would ensure, is enough to ensure that there will be a delivery on the promises that he has made.
All right, now, quite a lot that you have said, and I'm still on the June 12th Democracy Day, and here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, I want to read, use June 12th as a lesson to drive Nigeria's development. And I want to quote something that the man, the Oga, as you rightly as you described earlier, said. He said, gains of June 12 can deepen our democracy. This is coming from the then military head of state, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. He said, gains of June 12 can deepen our democracy.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
I really want to know what you think he would have been thinking when he said the gains of June 12, because on the books, June 12 is supposed to be the freest and fairest elections Nigeria ever had. But then a president was announced, a winner was announced, but nobody was sworn in, and we're celebrating today in commemoration of what happened in June 12. So what do you think, what gains is the IBB talking about right now, and what do you think will be going through his mind at this point in time?
Yeah, I think I associate strongly with his position, not just as an opinion leader, but one who superintended over the happenings of those days. Only IBB knows where and what really placed pressure on him to feel that we should not go ahead to uphold the outcome of that election. Only him alone. And he may probably never share it with us. But here he comes with a very genuine and gendarme statement that, look, we can gain so much from June 12th, notwithstanding that I was the one that canceled it, notwithstanding that I have been called names ever since then, notwithstanding that people may never appreciate the fact that I too was under pressure, and it was a pressure as a president, as the head of state, that is stronger than I. That is where people are having problem, that the commander-in-chief could succumb to outside pressure to do what is wrong. But be that as it may, he said, look, there are too many things to gain from June 12th. I shared that with him absolutely. One, that was the first time this idea of Muslim ticket, came on board.
About. Okay.
And the agitation we had 30 years after, when another ticket, similar ticket, came on board, didn't arise back then. You ask yourself, why did it not? Why is it that it didn't become an issue?
Definitely, quite a lot has changed between this period.
That made it an issue, isn't it? Good. Now, I had always believed that the problem of this country is politicizing what ought not to be politicized. Take, for instance, the issue of religion is of it's not issue that should be disturbing anybody. Be free to practice your religion. I should be free to practice my religion. When in 1993, I think I'm right, we implemented it, nobody raised eyebrow, all right? That means religion is not an issue as far as Nigerian democracy is concerned. That's one lesson. The other lesson is that, see, as a public officer, you can stand your ground to deliver, to do the right at all times, even when you are under pressure. And that's the lesson we learned from Humphrey Mosu. 3, it is quite sad that those who were promoting that particular presidency, especially the chieftains of NRC back then, we are the first to deny Abiola's mandate. They were the first to compromise. They were the first to not only to pull out, but went ahead, had the erroneous courage to speak against June 12. What does it tell you about the Nigerian mentality? We can tilt towards left or right, depending on where we find our interest.
Where the interest
Have we matured since then? No. It's still happening. So what IBB, I think, is encouraging here is that we should try to savour some of these positive lessons we can learn from that. Forget about the negative side of it. And then transport or juxtapose what you learn from there and implement it now.
All right.
So we can deepen our democracy.
All right, then let's, because our time is fast spent, let's move away from reports about democracy and talk about the other stories. Because you talked about the religion, how much religion, ethnicity has further divided us, even more than it should unite us. Looking at the tussle in the National Assembly, which is still ongoing at the moment, we see how much religion, ethnicity, even social economic status, let me say money, financial status has been able to further divide that election. And everybody like trying to, if you've got it, flaunt it. That's what it is, show of what you have at the moment. So what are your thoughts in that regard? And then even as we're looking forward to getting the next Senate president in the next less than 48 hours.
Well, you know, there is something often we do which is quite wrong. There is a time when a drama or a story is developing and we try to generalize. That is wrong. We should try as much as possible to decipher what really is happening, and so that we know how to approach it. What is it that is happening? There is a character that is that is working on a very familiar terrain. A character that is known for opposing his party. A character that caused his party to lose the governorship of his state in 2019 to PDP. That is who Yari is. Yari had a protracted tussle with Senator
just continue.
Yeah, I'll remember his name. You know,
Matawale?
No, Senator Marafa. Senator Marafa, after serving a term of, I think, 2 terms in the Senate, decided to vie for the governorship on the ticket of APC, the sitting governor being an APC. And don't forget that from 1999 up to the time when Yari caused APC to lose Zamfara, Zamfara has never been a home to any other party other than the APP, ANPP, and it comes in that order till we got to APC. So it was under Yari that they lost Zamfara to PDP, Matawale, although he later cross-carpeted to APC. But the division has been created. His group was different from that of Yari and Marafa. Now, the party that is the ruling party have made a decision that, look, we've had the president and the vice president as members of the same religion.
Even though they never saw it as a problem initially.
Yeah. The vice president didn't see it as a problem, but I think his experience during the electioneering campaign has made him to, reflect deeply, and now he is advocating for inclusiveness, inclusion, and then I think I commend him for that. So Yari is not seeing anything wrong about that. That it will be too glaring that one section or one religious group is being sidelined. He's going ahead with his fight. Now, in a very good day, if our 10th Senate has some rebels that can snatch away this leadership from APC, I think they can do it very easily, because that's exactly what happened to APC in 2015 when they had streamlined the officers the way it should go. And then, of course, there was a rebel group led by Saraki, and then went ahead to clinch the Senate presidency.
So you see that happening again?
Well, I don't see that really happening. I have seen a polarized opposition, very polarized opposition. The other time we were talking about it here in the studio, what opposition we expect. From the foregoing, I realized that the opposition has been divided even before the inauguration. Therefore, one does not expect so much of the rebel group that happened in 2015 to repeat itself. So that is that. We would have said this, that the APC as a party is trying to correct the imbalances they have obtained so far. But the Yari phenomenon appears to be threatening it. So, but let's see how it plays out tomorrow. And
let's see how it plays out. Even also for the Senate, you still actually have faith in. I'm trying to be careful asking you where exactly your political compass is tilting towards, especially in the Senate and the House of Representatives. But I want to ask you, where is your political compass tilting towards?
I actually associate strongly with the position of the APC, both in the Senate and then in the House. It's absolutely okay. Now, in the Senate, you know that Yari is just a politician. He's not an administrator per excellence. We don't even have.
Are you going to say same for the Senate president?
No. If you say your political compass is tilting towards the APC, both at the Senate and at the
House of Reps.
House of Reps,
yes.
Is it on the grounds of competence,
yes.
or on the grounds of balancing the religious bias
all of them
at the executive level?
Yes.
And if it's on the grounds of competence, now let's pick the front runner for the APC, the anointed one, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for the Senate. We all know the story. During his time at the NDDC, when he was chairman Senate Committee on Niger Delta. Also, the infamous off your mic, honorable, off your mic, off your mic. If it's on the ground, if he himself attested to it, that Nigerians should not judge him based on his performances as the minister, meaning that he himself is acknowledging that he did not perform up to expectation as a minister. So if you are tilting towards them on the grounds of competence, can you juxtapose these two situations?
We should make every effort to always separate the chaff from the grain.
Okay.
When we are focusing on one's misdeed, then we can trash that out. But if we are talking of capacity, ability, competence, give it that, baby.
Why are we
On what grounds?
trashing that out?
I'm coming. You don't forget that he is the man that revolutionized Akwa Ibom. Whether you like his face, I don't think he's a friend, so to speak. But the day I visited Akwa Ibom after several years, I lost my way. So he called it an uncommon transformation. Now, that's an executive accomplishment. In the Senate, just at the first time he came, he bulldozed himself to claim the minority leadership of the Senate. That is not a means feat. Someone might say that money was at work. Even sometimes you see that money will be at work and you still not achieve your goal.
So are you among those that will say that let them just spend the money as long as we are seeing things happening? Are you among that group?
No, I wouldn't. I couldn't have succumbed to that.
School of thought.
Those that take advantage of others. I think I weep. My heart bleeds when I see people taking undue advantage of others or taking advantage of people's ignorance. Yes, I am not among them, but I think I would prefer someone who put his hand in the tilt and work what is verifiable, what is relevant in the development of that place, than those that will pack the money, they will not deliver, and you will not see the money. We have some of them.
Somehow it still sounds like 6 and half a dozen to me.
Definitely. Now, because our time is fast spent, let's look at the big one that happened over the weekend, the suspension of the former CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele. He has been suspended and he has been taken into custody by the Department of State Security, DSS. Quite a number of Nigerians have applauded the move by the president, and a section of Nigerians have questioned the method. First of all, how did you receive the news? Looking at what Nigerians passed through late 2022, the cash crunch. Some refer to it as the Naira confiscation. People died. A lot of businesses were on the brink of collapse. But then some people have questioned the method with which it was done. They said it has not been done with due process. What are your thoughts on this?
The first question I asked you, who hired Emefiele? Who hired him?
The president.
The president.
Ratified by the National Assembly.
Good. Now, back then, under the watch of Mr. President, all these activities were done. Now, if his government wants to disassociate themselves with what Emefiele was doing, what is the right action for a commander-in-chief to do? Is it not to fire him? And he did not. Which means he has his stamp of approval in all that Emefiele did. His arrest at the beginning of President Tinubu's tenure, for me, it looks like a vendetta mission.
Looks like a witch hunt?
It's witch hunting, even if it's not intended. Many of us will say it that way. I was thinking that the president will set up a committee to look into this matter. I was thinking that some NGOs would have taken Emefiele to court and demand that he perform a restitution of the crime he perpetrated against citizens of this country. I can't remember how much I personally lost from inability to get a transfer that has been confirmed from the posting side, and I could not confirm it. And similarly, I remember a day I paid for a handset. After paying for it, the guy again said, no, I have not received it. I had to send another money. And up to today, I have not received, they have not retrieved that money. There were others that paid in millions. Should we not be compensated? Should it not be our focus? Why should we focus on the one that concerns the president alone? So, if we want to handle MFLS matter, let it not look like vendetta mission.
But don't you think that all of this will definitely in the bag and it will be removed or sorted out momentarily?
Well, let it be handled right. I see no reason why he will be bundled the way he was bundled to Abuja by the DSS. My thinking is that I've been invited by the DSS in a couple of times. Sometimes, little me, they'll call and be very, very cautious. One was called and say, I'm sure I'm talking to Obadiah and Mbila. I said, yes. I said, who is speaking from the other end? He said, oh, it's one of your friends, you know. What's the name? He said, it's not necessary until he delivered the message that I am wanted at the DSS headquarters for a certain publication. I went there and defended myself and came back. All right? So I expected that of the that it should be done somewhere, unless they have invited him and he didn't appear. And they didn't tell us that, look, this man, we have been inviting him.
Even though at some point they said they denied the fact that he was invited, and then later we saw.
Thank you very much. So I expect the presidency and the DSS to handle their affairs in such a way that public confidence will be rebuilt, both in the DSS and then, of course, the presidency. Right. If we expect, if what we are going to have is vendetta, mission, politicizing things that ordinarily should not be politicized, then that will be too bad.
Thank you so much, Obadiah and Mbila, for your... it's always a pleasure having these discussions with you anyways.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that's where we leave it for that segment of the show. We move straight to our social media corner. We'll start with where I ended this segment. That's how the former CBN governor was whisked away. In case when he was talking about it, you don't understand it, then here's the video of how he was taken away and brought to Abuja by the DSS. Even though I was saying that at some point I became emotional about the way he was taken away, and then some people say, oh, we
I
really
wasn't emotional about it because
why would you be emotional about it?
Thinking of the fact that at some point I had to pay as high as 3,000 naira for 10,000 naira. I wasn't paying 3,000 naira to get $1. I was paying 3,000 naira for 10,000 naira.
But then, like
at some point, I paid 2,000 naira to get.
Yes, everybody went through that. But
naira.
then, like our guest said, that it should be done in the right way and not looking like a witch hunt or like as if we're.
But then that's the Nigerian in me is talking.
Okay. All right, let's see what some people have said in that regard. That's with regards to that video that we just showed you. Coming from Dele Faro Timi, he said, and quote, if you like, be waxing lyrical about Emiwere's arrest. I don't know who Emiwere is, though, but that's what he said. So he says, Nigeria has taught me, and I have learned nothing will happen to Emiwere. I'm sure he's talking about Emefiele, so I don't know why he said he's calling him that. You're watching the caucus of criminal impunity, and you are a I'm not going to use that statement. So he says, if you expect the thieves to catch themselves, that's you're being naive. So let me just make it look subtle, because it's the morning show. We can make such statements. All right. And the next comment from that video, coming from Omoyele Showore, he says, former CBN bank, central bank governor Godwin Emefiele has finally landed in Abuja after he was arrested at his Lagos home at 2 a.m. in the morning. He was flown on a PJ that's private jet from Lagos, accompanied by a team of DSS men. Emefiele was tracked after he drove around Lagos purportedly in an attempt to flee Nigeria. It is time to indict, arrest, and try his accomplices as well. They include his principal at Muhammadu Buhari, the ex-Attorney General Abubakar Malami. Also, his SAN, he also stated Buhari's cousin and ex-Abubakar, ex-private secretary Tunde Sabiu, Chief of Defense Staff General Irabo, whose wife was given the task of printing naira notes under the pretext of being falsely appointed by the Nigeria Security Printing and Minting Company. General Irabo severally interfered with investigations and obstructed justice in attempts to shield Godwin Emefiele from investigations, arrest, and prosecution. #revolution now. Okay, so that's what he stated. That's his statement, not mine. Anyways, let's leave that and take the next trending story. And I'm sure if you were on social media all through last weekend, you must have seen the trending cookathon, the new cookathon from Ekiti, a particular Chef Dami, who decided to clinch that. Even though Hilda Bassi has not gotten it, but then let's see the video, and then we'll take some other pictures. I will talk about that later on.
Let's make way. Shout down me in the
All right, so there you go. You've seen it, and then we have some people who have, in fact, loads of Nigerians who have commented on that one, saying one thing or the other. But then the First Lady of Ekiti State has sent her regards, and then you have also people who have sent money and then sent their support. Even Hilda Bassi has sent her support. And like at some point, I felt like, why do Nigerians just want to take away the glory? But then, like they say, like you also said, the sky is way too wide for everyone to fly. They can have anybody. So we've seen pictures of the food that she made, and then even more, so many foods right there.
Annabel, just before you proceed, for me, I do not have an issue with the fact that she dared to dream. I do not have an issue with it. But then she got her timing really wrong.
Why is the timing wrong?
Because if was she thinking about doing such before Hilda Bassi?
It could be. You don't know.
But then, for me, I think her timing is wrong, because this record, the Guinness World Record has over 40,000 records for you to take, so you don't necessarily have
but then
to
it might not be about the Guinness World Record. It just be that she just wants to let everybody understand that we all Nigerians, we have our talent, so we can actually achieve. Like actress Ruth Kadiri decided to shade her and says that they won't think for themselves, but the moment you do it, everyone starts to realize that they can do it also. They cannot even wait for her euphoria to settle. Meet Nigerians, my people. Like I said, the sky is way too wide for everyone to fly and thrive. So if skit makers did not wait for anyone, they kept doing it differently, and then why shade her? Why not just congratulate her? All right then. Aside her, you've actually seen other people who came up, and then there's this one again. A chef in Ibadan, Temitope Adebayo, plans to undertake a 140 hours cookathon. And then another one who said that she's going to take 150 hours cookathon that's frying puff puff. Well, let's leave it there. So we leave everyone to judge that. Wherever you do, just do it well. That's where we leave it for the program for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Democracy Day to everyone again. I will see you tomorrow, live and well. My name still remains Annabel Orji.
And I am Francis Adeniyi. Once again, happy Independence Day.